Okay, today we are going to learn how to make our very own Happy Easter banner or bunting, or garland, however you want to phrase it. But this is something that I think is super fun. Kids love to wake up and see decorations set up on the house. And there are so many different ways that you can make your own Easter banner. As I pulled up just a real brief Easter banner printable. And there are just so many options here. You have just plain letters with a little bit of graphics. I think one of my favorite ones is this one. I think this one is just so festive. But there are so many different variations, and you can pull your own up and just do your own search, see what you think really appeals to you, what you like, what you think your kids would like, or what you think would sell well, depending on what you're making your printables for. But today we are going to make something just a little bit more in depth to kind of give you an idea of what's possible for you. So I usually start in some place like Creative Fabrica. This is where I get most of my graphics, if not all of them now. I have a link to Creative Fabrica in the comments or in the description in case you want to check them out. They've got graphics and fonts and all kinds of things and thousands of them. So you can type in something like Easter graphics, which is what I had done, and the sky's the limit. There is so many variations and availability for things here. It's just really neat, and you could spend way too much time on here. So I went ahead and got the ones that I wanted to use, and we are going to get started. So if you pull up your PowerPoint, we start with our blank presentation, and then I always go straight to design and I resize the slides here. If you're new to PowerPoint, I'll do my best to walk through slowly, and hopefully you can follow along pretty well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask something in the comments so I can answer it for you. So you go down to custom slide size, and we're going to do this as a landscape. So we're going to do the width as 11, the height as 8.5, and then just make sure they're all landscape and ensure fit. Okay, so then I'm just going to clear this off. So I click on the paper here, Control A and backspace. So the banners come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, as you saw on our search here. You've got the triangles, and you have the more custom banners. They even have circles. I saw them somewhere. Egg shapes, I guess it really just depends, bunny sizes. So the most familiar ones, I think, would be the triangle here and I just thought these kind of banners here. So I'm going to do one like this here. This is a very easy shape that you can pull up on Printable. So if you go to Insert, you're going to go over to your shapes. And then you're going to go straight on down here, and I like to pull off this shape here. As you can see, there were a few other shapes you could use for a banner, but this is the shape we're going to use today. So you just kind of pull it off, just kind of, get it fleshed out here, and then I always like to size it to whatever you want. Normally, if you're going to sell bunting or banners, the sizes normally are 5x7, at least that's the common ones I've seen. So we'll just go with that. So I'm going to resize it there, and then I'm going to go over here to my shape fill, and I'm just going to start with our white here. Now we're going to change everything else to it, but I want to start adding my graphics in first, so that way you can see which colors you want to pull off, and so on and so on. So if you have your shape selected, you're just going to right click on here, and it's going to go down to Format Shape. And then this allows you to change up lots of different things in the shape. So I'm going to show you something that we're going to start off with. If you notice, let me pull this back up to give you an idea. If you notice, a lot of banners have kind of a start and finish, and this is something that we will do as well. So to start off with our starter shape, I am going to go ahead and go to my fill section. This is the shape options, and you have text options. So we're going to go right under the fill and line options here. We're going to go to fill, and right now it's on solid fill, which is white, but we're going to go down to picture fill. and we're going to go to picture source. So automatically it does a texture fill, which we're going to change. So I'm going to insert from a file that I've already had downloaded from Creative Fabrica. And this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to select this cute little rabbit here, and it automatically fills into the shape. Now, I am not a big fan of how stretched out this looks. It's fine. I think it looks okay. I think we can use it, but I'm going to just fix it just a little bit. And so you can go down here to the offset buttons, and this allows you to kind of play with the size, with the shape a little bit. I don't know, I think about plump little bunnies when I think about Easter. So I think I'm going to pull this down just slightly, and I think we're pretty good to go. Now, I am going to change the outline width. I do feel like a very thick width looks really good. So if you didn't see what I did, I just went right up to my shape outline, and then I changed the weight, and you can play around. There's other sizes you could go with, but for time's sake, we'll just stick with the 6 point. And then I always change the color when I'm working on the width. My favorite one is to go straight to my eyedropper and just to pull a color from here. So we'll start with purple. Okay, so we have that shape right there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to cheat a little bit. We're going to push the control button and the A button, which selects everything in here, which right now is just this one shape. And then we're going to control C, which copies, and then we're going to push V, and that duplicates whatever we copy. Okay, so now we have the same shape and same color. So now that this is our border shape, this is the shape that we are our end of our bunting, like right here, has these end pieces here. So this run, we're going to start with our letters. So this one, we are not going to use this particular shape. So we're going to go back over to our format, which should still be up for you. If it's not, just right click and it'll go down to format. We're going to go to our paint bucket here. We're going to go back to solid fill, which is what we had earlier. And that solid fill is still white. It's still selected as white. So now what we are going to do, you know what? Actually, no, we're not. We are going to put something into this. I forgot. So we're going to go back down to picture. It's going to insert the last picture that we had, which is not what we're going to use. So we're going to insert another picture from a file, and it should pull up the last file you had. And now we're going to add some grass. Now, obviously, I don't want this taking up the whole page. So I am going to pull this down, and you just kind of play with it. See what you want. I want this to be probably about that far. And then we're going to start inserting some of our graphics. So we are going to insert a picture. And let's see, I want to add a couple. Let's see, we can add a couple of our eggs down to the bottom. I'm just going to pull those down. And then I like to kind of leave the most colorful one front and center. So we're just going to tilt this one a little bit, and then I'm going to tilt this one a little bit and drag it over. Well, just going to drag it over here. There we go. So we just kind of play with it, see how we want this to lay out and format. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and insert, you know what, let me put in the text first to kind of show you how I kind of think through this. So I'm going to go up to my text box, just going to create a little text box here. I'm sorry, I used my quick tabs here. If you don't have a quick tab set up for your text, you'll just find it in your insert. So you go to insert and then you swing on over to text box here. So I have my text box selected. I'm going to go ahead and put my first letter, which will be H, and then I'm going to start formatting this text. So my text box is going to be selected. I click on it. I bring it on over to, let's go to home. Bring it on over to center. And I'm going to make this pretty big. So we're just going to kind of jump on up. We are going to be changing the font, so you don't want to make it too big because the fonts, depending on what you choose, it does its own sizing, so you're going to have to adjust it anyways. So I kind of make it big enough where I can see a little bit of what I want. And then I just go through and I start picking something I think is going to look good. I already know what font I want, so I'm going to go ahead and, I forgot the name of it, but I can pull it up pretty quickly here. As you can tell, I have a ton of fonts, and I get pretty much all of these from Creative Fabrica. There is another place you can go called fontsquirrel.com. That one has free fonts that you can use, and they're great too. So this is the font that I want, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'm probably going to make it, yep, I'm going to do one more. Okay, so I want this pretty front and center. I want this to really shine. So I do not want it to be black, so we're going to go ahead and select the text box if it's not already selected, and we're going to change the color. So I think I'm going to go with a darker purple this time. I'm going to go with, there we go. So we'll do a dark purple. I really want this to stand out. And then I'm going to add a few more graphics. Now, as we go along, as you see here, let's pull this up just to give you an idea. Some of these don't even have any borders. And let me see if I can find one to give you an idea. Some of these do have borders and they change the colors. So this isn't the exact type of illustration I was looking for, but these ones have borders and they're all the same color. And these ones I think do have borders. I can't quite tell without pulling them up. Yes, but they're the different colors according to what the colors and designs are already. So like this is a green border, purple border, and blue border. So you can totally play around with that. Now, because I'm using the same graphics for all my letter banners, my banner squares or whatever you call this, you can change up the shape color. So I would probably go with, let's see, another color inside here. So maybe green, okay? So every time I would do another banner, I would just switch up the colors just to give it some color, variety. So I want to add a few more things to kind of make this look really good. So what I would do is I would go ahead and I want to insert a really pretty flower just to really brighten this up. Now, because I think, I don't want it too big because I don't want it to overpower the letter, but I do want to give it a pop of color. But obviously we don't want it to go outside of our shape or bleed into another shape. So we're going to go ahead and crop this down. We are going to size it down. This is about as cropped as it's going to go. Doesn't go quite, if you look, it doesn't go quite within the line here. So you just select the shape and just use your arrow keys to kind of guide it down to where it needs to go. Okay, so now it looks like it's tucked into the shape. And then I'm just going to add one more graphic and we are going to be done with this one here. And I want to add these in. So I'm going to use these to kind of wrap them around the letter here. You know what? I think I did have this a bit smaller. Yeah, I think I did. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bring this down. Just, you know what? No, I didn't. So we're just going to backspace. Okay. So we can just kind of let this kind of hang over on the side here. It's okay if it goes over a little bit. When you go to cut them, it's okay to have some of them hanging over. I think it kind of gives a little dimension as well. I am going to bring this down just a little bit. So there we go. Okay, so now that we have our foundation started, we have our end piece, and then we have the start of our letter. Here I'm going to show you another cheat. So what I do is I just select the slide, Control, Copy, and V. And then now I have everything, all the elements I put into this particular one is just been copied. So all I have to do now is just switch over. So I'm going to show you, we're not going to use this one, so I can go ahead and select it and delete it. And then I'm going to Control All, and I'm going to group them. This will just make it a little easier. So now I'm going to Control V, and I'm going to slide this one on over. Okay, and since we already have an H, this one will change to an A. And because the shapes do change a little bit, you just want to make sure they're still center with your graphic. But you want to make sure that they're still, you don't want to move them too much because you want to keep them pretty uniform with the rest of the banner. And then the only thing I would change is just to kind of shift over your little garnished flowers here. All right, so I'm going to keep this letter the same color. I think we're going to do all of the word happy in one color and all of Easter in another color. The only thing I would change is maybe the banner. Okay, so we can go to, let's see, we did green, we did purple, so we do maybe a blue. And I'll probably change this one to a pink. Something like that. Oh, sorry. If you notice, I outlined everything, and that's not what I want to do. So we're going to go back, and we're just going to select. So it's grouped. So it's going to select every element in here. So I just want to make sure I'm selecting just this shape when I go to change the outline. So the same color is still here that I just used. So I'm just going to click on that, and it changes the shape. Now I'm going to change this font to a capital P and make sure it's center. It's pretty center. And then this one I think actually looks pretty good right there, so I'm going to leave it. So now that I have two banner pieces that have letters in them, I'm just going to copy and paste this one. Be a lot easier. I don't have to do a bunch of deleting and moving over and all that. So now I am going to do this one, make sure it's center. There you guys, I think I had it center. Move this over just a little bit, turn this one into a Y. And this one, I think we're going to just kind of make this one go down a little bit. All right, now this one, I didn't center it. Let me make sure. They're usually stay pretty center, but you never know. Okay, so this one, these ones here, I'm going to go back and start over with this one. So I've got a purple banner there. So I'm just going to throw up the purple banner. And then this one is a green banner. So I'm just going to try and kind of follow the same pattern of banners. So now that we have HAPPY, we're going to start with our Easter font. And that one we're going to change the color to. So I'm going to change this one probably to blue. I like that. And we're going to change this to an A. And change color. Okay. Make sure this is center. And then this one, give it a little bit of variety here. Okay, and then this one we're going to change it. Oh. This one we're going to, there we go. Okay, so we want to make sure that the shape is, the color is changed. We're going to go to, just going to speed this up. So now that we have the rest of the shapes, the banner shapes done, the only thing we have left to do is create our second one of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this slide. Then I'm going to push this control button, C, V, and I'm just going to drag this slide all the way down to the end because we are not going to keep this. So we're just going to get rid of that. We are going to keep this one though. And we are going to, I'm going to do something. I'm going to select the shape, go to Arrange, Rotate, and flip it. So that way you can give it's just a little different from the other one, and you can have them facing in or facing out. You can put on the other side of happy, either side of happy, or at the end of Happy Easter. And now we have our banner, our Happy Easter banner. And I think it looks pretty amazing. And it really isn't that hard when you kind of figure out how to work with the shapes. And so I hope I was able to teach you something today. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If there is something else you would like to learn how to make and you just can't figure it out on PowerPoint, please also leave me that in the comments and I will see what I can do about making a video for you. And I will see you in the next video.